Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to episode 11 of this Let's Play Europa Universalis 4, The Rights of Man. This is the army with a state, Prussia, or Brandenburg as we're currently known. But we're probably actually not too far away from getting Prussia. The Reformation has in fact kicked off. Northern Germany is embracing rather quickly. Denmark already has. England has. Switzerland? Is that Switzerland? What was once, no, Switzerland's over there. Whole Bavaria and surrounding areas have. So I think quite a lot of Germany will actually flip in this game because we have a lot of centers of reformation that are all ticking away and they're all kind of in this central area, well, kind of here. So yes, this is going to be an interesting one. We are still making a bit of money. We just got out of a war. We currently have a vassal of Limburg and Saxony. We are trying to improve or reduce the liberty desire. Limburg is actually low enough that we could try and annex them once that is available in 4 years' time. Pomerania is no longer rivals with them. Pomerania is now my rival. Mantua. Lost to Milan. Okay. Oh, have we just died? We have just died. Jadwiga is now in command. And she brings some actually fairly decent skills, I think. So part of this is if you have a consort when your ruler dies and your heir is not of age yet, then she actually takes over rather than just throwing you into Regency Council. And she is a 352. She's pretty strong. In fact, she's quite a lot better than the heir is. And she's Midas touched, which will earn me more money, which is lovely. I like money. Money is good. We could hire out troops to Florence. No thanks. I need to recover my army still from the disastrous war that I was in previously. Yes, and I do want royal marriages with these chaps. Marvellous. Saxony is at 200 relations. Still at 75% liberty desire, but that's mostly because the vassal relative strength is so high compared to ours, because they have a lot of troops. In fact, they have the same number of troops that we do right now, which is a bit dangerous. But we are trying to improve relations with Limburg. I've just noticed it's actually going to take a bit longer than 4 years. No, actually not necessarily. Because we need to have relations 150 with them, and we've already improved relations to the maximum. But we are ticking up quite a lot. Yeah, we're ticking up 2.8, 3 point something, maybe even 4 a year in relations in losing the negatives. Bribes growing more accepted. What's the difference between an honest man and a fool? The fool doesn't know he's being swindled. So goes an increasingly common saying in Brandenburg, the spirit of which has proven through a more sinister change in the social fabric. Bribes are beginning to be seen as a natural consequence of the market, where any action carries a price. Those who refuse to take bribes are viewed as precisely what the saying suggests. Fools. Worse than fools, since they are deliberately refusing money that could be theirs. The consequence of this cynicism is that any form of power truly corrupts, and no one who believes it is immune, not even the Elector's regent. It's still just a saying. We're getting corruption. Stop corrupting me, please. So we are still trying to earn enough money to raise the troops to fill up our force limits. We probably want another 4 cavalry because that is what we had before. We got embroiled in a war against France and the Ottomans, in which France stack wiped us in one conflict, mostly because of our negative prestige. Our prestige is really, really low. So we had less morale than they do. We don't have our army professionalism idea yet, and they have their elan, which meant they just smashed my morale, and my morale was 0 before the end of the minimum conflict, which means stack wipe. Relations are 200 here. I think we can recall. How are relations with you? I'm going to improve them a little bit more just to keep Poland sweet so that Bohemia doesn't try and draw us into a war against them. Oh, has that lost me that royal marriage I had with them? Yes, it has. No, I unfortunately still can't get a royal marriage with you, and I should already have one with you. Yes, I do. Force vassalized us, -91. That's going to take a while to overcome. So I think we're going to go up to speed 4, because there is really not much we can do except let time tick. I can now get organized construction, which gives me cheaper build cost, or we can go up in tech. Although tech costs will be increasing because we have not got colonialism. But I think we probably want to get up to tech 9 and then we will stop. I mean, cheap build cost is nice, but right now I'm not actually building. Buildings, I'm building units, and build cost does not reduce that. Who are my rivals at this point? I think I only have 2. I do indeed. Pomerania is not my rival, really? Should be. Should be. I'm not embargoing anyone. That is silly. I should be embargoing everyone. Economic actions. Issue embargo. Confirm. Bohemia and the Teutons. Bohemia. Need to wait for my guy. Issue embargo. Come on. Confirm. Teutons. Confirm. Right, that should get me a bunch more power projection. A little bit anyway. And I can get another aspect of faith. And who wants my army? Foreign still. So, what should we get next? The yearly prestige could actually be useful at this stage. Try and build that up. Manpower recovery, also nice. We've already got the idea cost reduction. Yearly legitimacy, we don't really need it. I think we're actually going to go for the manpower recovery speed, because we are a militaristic nation, then maybe discipline after that. Because we have 27,000 manpower, and we need it to tick up more quickly. It's currently reduced because of the nobility and war exhaustion. Bloody nobility, causing nothing but problems. Relations with Poland's increased to the maximum and our advisor died. That's annoying, because I can't afford to replace you yet. Although without you I am making a bit more money. Oh, and you were the morale guy. That's even more annoying. But we do now have more troops than the vassals do. Do we have a focus? Yeah, we're focusing on military, which is precisely what I want to do. Doesn't really matter which of these we go for, so I think we're going to go for you, just because cheaper. I don't tend to like getting the plus force limit size guys, because when they die, you lose that 10% force limit, and that immediately puts you over. It just feels like a bit of a waste of money. In the short term, if you're in a big war, then yeah, okay, it could be useful, but discipline and morale are just so much more useful, because once they're gone, you don't lose anything. Protestant diaspora. As Christendom grows even more divided, the trickle of religious refugees has grown into a steady stream. Religious conflicts in major Catholic states have caused many Protestants to leave their old home countries. As a Protestant country with our own church, we would be able to offer them protection, and we could also make good use of their skills and assets. Protestantism, however, is far from a united faith, and it is not very likely that those who come to us will find the Church of Brandenburg to match their own beliefs fully. While it would be admirable to receive all Protestant immigrants, it might be more prudent to handpick those who possess skills we can make use of. I think we'll probably open it to everyone. Oh, cheaper advisor costs, just when we bought one. Oh, except that's their salary, so I think that's a good thing overall. We do get more unrest, but I think we're actually a pretty stable nation right now. We're going to open it to everyone. Rebel factions. Neumark's the only one with a negative. So yeah, I think that was a good decision. And yes, the salary cost should be lowered because we have minus 10%. Boom. +1 base tax in Rupin. Man, Rupin's wealthy. 18 development. It's mental. Compared to Berlin's 16. Advancement of the nobility. Nobility gains 10 influence. Does that mean that this is another round of admin support requests? No, not for another 10 years. This one I could. We don't have the loyalty for it right now. This increases influence to 64, which is acceptable. And then military support. Beautiful. Can't do that one for 2 years. And then this one. Likewise. So the nobility really hates my guts. It would be nice to find a way of increasing their loyalty a little faster. But that's just something that kind of ticks up over time. We can now get the next idea, which is even more manpower recovery. That would be plus 30% with our religion. But no, we're going to get the army stuff first. We're going to get to level 9 and everything except Diplo, which will probably be level 8. And then after that, we will just get more ideas and stuff going, because we haven't really done that until colonialism spreads to us, which will be a while. Like, colonialism is spreading really freaking slowly, actually, because I don't think very many people have colonies. Oh, right, we're playing on a brand new world. Forgot about that. So we've seen a little bit of it over here. Oh, stop losing me prestige. So if we go back onto this screen, Portugal has colonies, although not a colonial nation, just colonies. And then Castile seems to be going for Africa rather than the Americas. Okay. Oh, the other question was whether the Teutons are still allied with anyone big. They're still allied with Muscovy and the Livonians, and Muscovy are quite big. So I don't think I'm quite equipped to take them on myself, but you were quite right, they are no longer allied with Poland. Austria is the new emperor. Austria has rivaled the Ottomans. The Ottomans haven't spread that big. Brunswick has insulted us. That is, I would assume, an event. But I could do with improving my relations with you. Just so it doesn't drop too low. We'll work on that. We have enough money for another cavalry. Make it happen. Also, our force limit's up to 17 now, probably because Rupin got that extra development, which is lovely. We are very close to getting Miltech 9. I have no intention of backstabbing my ally, thank you very much. So close. And this is the next level. Like, this is a big one, actually, level 9. New unit type, more tactics, more combat width. Still not quite to the stage where I think that artillery are worthwhile. I mean, they become more worthwhile in smaller numbers with Culverin and Padero. And then with chambered demi-cannons when they really are strong, in my opinion. And there we go. We are now 9 years ahead of time. Excellent. Poland's declared war on Crimea. Nope, I'm not even going to look at other nations until we've got Limburg on side. We can get them up to 164. Still not enough. Right, and I need to get new unit types. So, manpower is not so much of a problem. So we don't really need the shock resistance. Morale is more of an issue, so Landsknecht might be good for the morale resistance. But honestly, with Brandenburg, it's going to be Reform Gallogleich all the way. Especially when we get army professionalism, which I admit we are still a ways away from getting, but I think we'll be okay. Kildare's done a pretty good job at uniting Ireland. Danish Russia, lots of rebels floating around in Denmark right now, which is not very good for our ally. Oh crikey, we have not raised relations with you at all. We should definitely do that. Okay. Keeping our allies sweet. I would really love to be able to hire more advisors, but I don't think we can really justify the cost. Can't quite afford that. We can, however, go up in Diplo. What's that? May study technology. And the new level of ships, but we have absolutely zero coastline, so irrelevant. Your Liberty Desire down to 64 because the Diplo tech deficit is now closer, so they're liking us more. And I'm pretty sure that once we have Limburg, Saxony would fall below the 50% mark, and then we'll be able to annex them fairly sharpish. Well, actually, we would need to wait for 10 years for the diplomatic reputation thing to wear off before we can do it. Granted monopolies just run out, so that is these things, right? Yes. So we want to grant monopoly charters. the extra influence, then we can ask for contribution and diplomatic support, though it's still only 50. And over here, seek support of the clergy. If we made a generous donation, oh, that's still only loyalty. No, never mind. Oh, it's 40% where the negative kicks in. Okay, it's not as low as I thought. But that should help us with the admin. And also we got some more money, so we can get another knight. Yay! How many is that now? 10 and 4. I think we'll get up to 6 knights, then after that we'll concentrate on the infantry. Or we could get an artillery for the sieging. And there we go, admin tech, boom. And that should also help us pay down some of the corruption. Why are you not pausing? Thank you. Lose manpower and gain tax, or lose manpower or lose money. I always lose manpower, it's just easier to recover. I always seem to be short of money, unless I'm playing a... I guess unless you're playing someone who makes a lot of money, but then the money cost is much higher. The manpower just seems to be negligible, in my opinion. Saxony still has high liberty desire. You are ticking down to almost nothing. It's just too bad that you hate me so much. Message for the faithful. One of the great strengths of having a state church is the ability to reach out to all the faithful in our country at once. A national day of prayer is coming up, and it is customary for the sermon of this day to be partly dictated by the central state church. What should the sermon focus on for the years ahead? Gratefulness for the peace we now enjoy. We lose church power, but we gain war exhaustion reduction. Unjustified demands reduction. Missionary strength. Tolerance. Or loyalty in the church estate. I'm not actually against the loyalty, although we don't need it right now. I think war exhaustion, although we don't have any right now. We don't need the missionary strength. Tolerance of the true faith. We'll go with tolerance. Does that increase money by any chance? No, it just reduces unrest, but we have no unrest anywhere anyway. Although we could reduce autonomy. So you're a clergy province, you're a nobility, you're not. So we could, in exchange for a bit of tolerance here. Sorry, in exchange for some unrest, we could reduce the autonomy. In Sternberg. Are you another one to the nobility thing? Nope. Plus 10 local unrest. That lasts about 10 years, I think. So that's something I want to deal with. And it doesn't go any lower than 25, so we're only going to be reducing autonomy by about 10%. Nah, not really worth it for 10 revolt risk. Okay, Brunswick has been fully beefed up. Let's start improving relations with you again. Is there anything else I can do to improve relations? No, I don't think so. Saxony could really make us quite a lot of money. The Reformation branches out. The Protestant Reformation is spreading like wildfire across Europe. Several different movements have already been formed, proposing alternate ways of reforming the Christian faith. A devout preacher in Rhodes has become the principal figure for the so-called Reformed school of thought, stressing the complete ruin of humanity's ethical nature. Only with the divine intervention of God can humanity find salvation, turning from rebellion to willing obedience. Rhodes. Roads. So the Knights Hospitaller have gone reformed. Roads. Of all the places in Europe, the Reformation started in Rhodes. That is kind of hilarious. Okay. Rhodes. Oh, Pomerania is converted. Bavaria is converted. Somehow, Trier is holding out, even though the entire country has been converted. State religion is Catholic, but they must have 0% religious unity. Bohemia are claiming stuff on us. I don't like that, Bohemia. Go away. Right, so I think we have all the technologies that we are going to get in the short term. Lumberg's 172. Is that going to go any higher? Not really. No, we just need to wait for the forced vassalization thing to go down, which is going to take another 18 years. No, it's not. It's going to take another 9 years. 7 or 8 years before we can annex them. And the truce just ended, which is nice. Unless there's anything else I can do to raise relations with you, like, you know, money. Although currently I have no money, so no. End of the month. Nope. Next month. Who wants my army? England. Who's England fighting? Don't say France. Burgundy, Nevers, Baden, Brabant, and Holland. Versus just England. No, you're good. I'm not going to get involved in that one. No way. Right. Lumberg. Can I give you money? Not a loan. Money. Raises relations by 25, which would be sufficient. Boom. To start annexing you. I just bribed you to be annexed. Lovely. 5th of October. Now. Opinion of other subjects changes. Opinion from HRE changes. And there we go. It's happening. And it costs Diplo, which we don't really care about because we have no ships. And trade is probably negligible amount of income. Yeah, 0.5 ducats. It's kind of rubbish. We're actually going to integrate them rather quickly. Sorry, annex them. Growing city requests privileges. The workers of an increasingly important trading city have approached the Electress Regent today, asking to be granted privileges to be able to make the region thrive without the hindrance of any of our normal taxes. Should we provide them with these means to grow, they assure us the economy of the area will quickly improve, resulting in more wealth for the state. +2 base tax. In exchange, and loyalty. But it becomes Berger, increasing their influence by 19%. I always revoke it from them after. Or I can revoke one of the other locations. I accept. And then I'm going to revoke. Is there anything I can get you to do for me before I lose a bunch of loyalty? No. Okay, so what provinces do you have right now? Potsdam and Altmark. Potsdam's the one I just gave you. Altmark makes more production money. I can't revoke it for another year. I can, however, revoke this one. Reduces it by 13%. No, I'm going to revoke Potsdam. I don't want them to have all of that lovely, lovely development. So thank you very much for your efforts in improving this region. Come October, I'm going to shift my army into there, put them on full maintenance for a short time, and then revoke Potsdam in January. And I say in October, in fact I can move them now, but October is when I will turn morale up. Manpower is recovering nicely, which is good. Monetary reforms. Our treasurers are arguing that we need to enact some reforms in our economic policies. A new master of the mint will be needed to take care of the economy. We can just lose one inflation. which I think is a fantastic idea because I will reduce it to 3. Boom. Thank you, Jadwinger. You've actually been a really rather good ruler. Okay, we're in July. Prestige is continuing to increase. Legitimacy, however, is going down because we're in a regency. Not much I can do about that. August. September. And we have a new ruler. No longer in a regency. And he is negative trade efficiency, which I don't really care about because we make no money in trade. Right, you need to increase maintenance. So it was already fairly high. That was a mistake. I could have reduced you to 0 for longer. Okay, Burkers, are you ready to be revoked? Pomerania, end of religious turmoil. That means they must have converted. It does indeed. Trier, still holding out. Scotland's gone reformed. National Bank's paying off some of my loans. Thank you very much. Or receiving dividends, whatever it's called. Stuff is still converting, which is lovely. And now it's time to get stuff. I don't know why I was just unpausing there. I thought I'd maybe not be able to do this until the end of the month. But no, I can. Oh, they went quietly. Okay. Let's reduce maintenance to 0, shift you back to Berlin. And then I think we will buy one more knight. And that will round out our army rather nicely. And after this, we will have to get infantry again. We just want lots of knights, so this army can hit really, really hard. If we have the morale to actually stay in the fight. New idea, more manpower recovery. I like it. Witch trials in Neumark. Oh, and we get the tax modifier, which means even more money. We have taxation efficiency of 56%. That's actually pretty high. Cool. The transition from being part of the wider Roman Catholic Church to the local church of Brandenburg was generally worked well, but in some areas it has been unclear where authority lies. When there was suspicion of witchcraft in the old days, the Catholic Church would often become involved and might temper the outrage of the local population. The Reformation, on the other hand, has done much to strengthen the belief in popular versions of Christianity. A number of women stand accused of witchcraft in Neumark, and a search has already begun to find more. Local priests and magistrates have gotten involved in trials, but so far the state has not yet been involved. As the number of women awaiting trial grows larger and larger, it may be necessary for us to act. Condone the trials, which will give more unrest and less goods produced, but will result in more church power. We're going to reduce a bit of church power and we'll stop them. Found the Kammergericht. In order to regularize control of the Mark of Brandenburg, the early Hohenzollerns would replace local common law with Roman law. They would further regulate justice by moving the Supreme Court from the court of the Elector, who was prone to moving around, to a fixed and central location. This simultaneously improved justice and curbed the power of local magnates. How old does a boy need to be before he is a man? How old must he be before he can die for his country? Some rulers are squeamish. We, on the other hand, are an equal opportunity butcher. Manpower recovery speed plus 20%, so we recover manpower really rather quickly, which is awesome. Means that we'll have a lot of manpower at our disposal. And with that, in fact, we are going to end this episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you're enjoying this series, then please do hit that like button. If you haven't done so already, please do consider subscribing as well. If you have any tips or advice for me, you know where to put them. Comment section. Next episode, we should get Limburg on side, and then with Limburg, probably about 10-year wait, and then we can get Saxony. And at that point, we will really be a regional power. Certainly able to rival Bohemia, possibly even Poland. Although no, you have a personal union still, so unlikely. But at that point, we could probably feasibly go after the Teutonic Order, and definitely Pomerania, and start thinking about how to form Prussia. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.